And now, straight from the horse's mouth, our Neil Young News Report.
Smell the horse on this one.
With this week's update from ThrashersWheat.org, here's Thrasher.
Hey, Thrasher here with this week's Neil Young news, and the fresh wheat just keeps on coming. The news out this week between the first and second leg of the European tours is that another date has been announced for Neil Young and Crazy Horse, this time in Port Chester, New York. This is going to be on September the 2nd, and it's in a small theater, about 1,800 seat capacity, and the floor is open for GA and a small number of reserved seats in the balcony. So naturally quite a demand for this. The tickets went on sale on Friday at noon and sold out within a few moments from what we understand. So lots of demand for that. Kind of interesting. This seems to be a fill-in date between some of the festivals up in Canada, the Greenbelt Harvest Picnic in August on the 31st in Ontario, and then the squeezed in between the Ottawa Folk Festival on the 4th. So I'm not sure if we'll see any more of these fill-in shows between the festivals, but stay tuned on that. But this certainly promises to be a semi-historic date in terms of seeing Crazy Horse in a small theater. Certainly a dream for many, especially those who might have either made the famous Old Princeton Landing shows in 1996 or wanted to go to those, like yours truly. Anyway, certainly a dream to see Crazy Horse in a small, intimate setting, and this should be quite interesting. We'll see what happens. So stay tuned on all of that. Otherwise, we've just been posting videos on the blog of the first leg of the European tour, some of the video highlights there. So check those out on ThrashersWheat.org. And I guess the last thing we'll kind of talk about is a post that we did this week on the spirit of Neil in Paris. So here's the situation. This was before the Paris concert started that evening. The kind of typical scene, people line up, to get GA, get up, close to the rail as possible. People come in and, doors open, still a couple hours before even the opening act starts. So basically everybody just sort of sits on the floor and passes the time. So we were doing that, and we found ourselves in the midst of a group of French fans who were, how should we say, on the younger side of maybe early 20s, kind of late teens, kind of. So we were curious about their interest and knowledge of Neil Young, and proceeded to try and have a conversation with them in our limited French and their limited English. So we were having a little bit of a language barrier, but we kind of pressed on and did the best we could. Eventually, someone showed up who was a little more conversant in the languages and sort of acted as a translator. So we were asking them about, so have you seen Neil Young before? No. Have you heard his latest album, Psychedelic Pill? No. Any particular albums or songs that you like that you have on your iPod there? No. Okay, so let's get this straight here. You don't really speak English. You've never seen Neil Young. You're not familiar with his latest music or his older music. So why are you here exactly? And the basic translation out of that response was, we understand that Neil Young's music is important, and we've come to find out why. So for us, this was quite an insight, and really gives us a lot of hope for the future, if you will, or future of music, or the future of Neil Young's legacy, however you want to put it. But I think it really says a lot, in terms of Neil's stature. What we were also picking up is that no one in the modern music business has really still singing about, the kinds of things that Neil Young sings about today, that he's always sung about. And it's those themes that still resonate with the youth of the world, really. And, and certainly it's crossing language barriers. And so for us, that little moment, that little insight, really, it made the whole trip worthwhile, just to kind of, get that insight, into what's going on. And because, frankly, where we sit in our day to day, we're not, that connected, if you will, to that kind of, global youth scene and where they're at and where they're coming from. I mean, certainly we get bits and pieces of it as it flows through the blog, but to really have that, interaction, that time together to spend, in the hours before a Neil Young concert and hanging out in a completely different culture and having that cultural exchange. It was a very powerful and memorable moment. So we did write a little bit about that on the blog, so you can check that out, and got a few pictures of some of our new friends over there. So anyway, in the meantime, we'll just stay tuned here and check out some videos on the blog, and thanks again to some of our partners and friends out there on Rust Radio for supplying tracks, and Sugar Mountain for helping us keep straight on things, and everybody else out there who's listening and reading the blog. Appreciate it. T-shirts have been printed and getting to get dropped in the mail, so appreciate everybody's patience on that, and hopefully they'll be arriving at your doorstep in the coming days. So take care, keep on rocking.